Georgia family, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Good, good. It's such an honor to be with you all today. I consider this a major blessing, and I have to first and foremost start by giving a major thanks to Gay Smith for allowing me to be here, and I'm thankful that she's a Georgia fan, or else I probably wouldn't be on this stage right now. And besides, and first and foremost, where are my Georgia fans at? Got to make sure I'm in the right place. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So I got to thank Gay Smith. And if y'all see me bouncing around a lot, don't get alarmed. Like I'm used to being in pads. Like if I was in pads right now, be ready to run through somebody. That's how, that's how intense this moment is for me. I love being able to come up on this stage, share with you all, and just get into this moment. But I want to give a special thanks to Gay Smith. I want to give a special thanks to all the board members, to all the coordinators, every one of you who put forth so much effort. I want to give a special thanks to the meeting professionals who put this together, Tim Barrett in the back, Reagan Foley, Edwina Turner, Janet Adams. I got a few people that I had an opportunity to speak with as well. Climb higher, grow stronger. Everybody say, climb higher, grow stronger. Climb higher, grow stronger. So many things come to mind when I think about that theme. And as I put together this message, I spent so much time, did so much research on your organization, because I hate being that speaker that just comes to an event and just gives you a canned speech. You guys deserve so much more than that because of the work that you put in. As I started to learn about the Georgia Family Connection, I learned about so many different initiatives that you guys have, from teen pregnancy to juvenile delinquency to education to improving literacy rates. So many different things. I heard stories from, I spent about an hour speaking to Edwina Turner and Janet Adams, I believe. And I learned about so many different challenges that you guys face. And then I just met Mr. Otis Johnson. Give him a round of applause, please. And what's crazy was I met so many different people yesterday at the event that, I met different people, but, you meet so many people, you can't remember certain names. And so I'm sitting down in my chair right there, and I pulled out my phone, and I started researching Otis Johnson, and I put up the pictures, and then I looked up, and he was sitting right next to me, and I was kind of embarrassed. Felt kind of slow, but I put it together. And even for me to be standing right here, I feel like I am definitely, there's no mistake. I'm supposed to be here right now. And when I heard about the year that you guys started the youth initiative and how it pushed and started out small and went big, in 1988, guess what year I was born? 1988. Crazy. I don't want to make y'all feel old, but hey, it's the truth. And so I am honored to be a part of this event. And my main intention, my initiative for today, is to give you some key insights, some key takeaways that can, number one, inspire you, can encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. A lot of things that I'm going to say today, you already know. You're already doing it. You're already putting forth that effort. And so my job is just to inspire you, give you something that can keep you moving forward and pushing forward and being excited about what you do, so that when you leave here, when you leave this nice resort, this nice utopia, y'all having a good time? All right. Just to give y'all a little background too, when I got to my room, I was trying to be cool. I was trying to get focused on this presentation. But I heard that, I was in my room and I just heard, well, my friends, the time has come. Lionel Richie. I heard that playing up in my room, and I peeked out from my room, and I saw you guys down there, and y'all having a good time. Golly. I was like, oh, they're getting down. So I went down. I was like, I didn't want to get, too involved with the networking piece, but I went down there, and man, I started doing the wobble, the electric slide. Man, y'all get down. Y'all get down. So I was just happy to just see you guys, because I know the challenges you all face. I know the tough times. So for you all to be able to come together like this is amazing. And I feel like I'm part of the family. I feel like I really do. Just getting to know some of you all in your hearts. You guys have hearts of gold. You guys are impacting, the most vulnerable people in the state of Georgia. The children, the families. And as I thought about the family connection, and I thought about my own background, I thought about my upbringing. I thought about my family. Because guys, I'm a product of those that you serve. I'm a product of a good community. I'm a product of parents who worked tirelessly, who worked hard. My parents were both Liberian immigrants who came to this country in the 1980s. My mom came first just by the simple fact that she got a scholarship to come to Emory. That's how we ended up in Atlanta. So she came here with $10 in her pocket, not knowing her way around, with a thick accent so people didn't even understand what she was saying half the time. She left my oldest sister and my father in Liberia, and she came to Liberia. She came to America. Once my father came to the States, he bought into a shoe repair franchise. And my father is somebody who didn't meet his own father until he was 24 years old. His mother, my grandmother, was actually an amputee. She lost her leg in a major accident that happened in Liberia, and they were in a remote village. And so she became adopted by the Lutheran Church and would ride around on horseback as a midwife. And during the time that I was growing up, as y'all can see, I was the youngest, I was a little knucklehead. 2 older sisters, so I got bossed around a lot. I got blamed for everything. I know when you hear youngest, you think, oh, he must be spoiled, but nah, man, I had it the worst. But growing up during this time, there was a civil war going on in my family's home country. So all I knew growing up was seeing the sacrifices that they made, splitting up the money, splitting up the resources that they had and sending it back home. So at that early age, I learned lessons of being selfless. I learned lessons of just family. I learned lessons of being a servant and fighting for something that's bigger than yourself. And so that's all I knew. A lot of times sharing my bed with cousins and uncles and aunts who had come from the war. And a lot of them, their life was spared simply because my grandmother was, like I said, a midwife. So growing up in this picture, things were good. Life was great, right? We were working hard. My parents are working tirelessly. We finally moved into a nice house in the suburbs. We like the only African family in the neighborhood. So life was good. Things were going well. At the age of 10 years old, I found my love. I started playing the game of football. Found a family, found a band of brothers. And you can see me in the corner with the big head drinking some Kool-Aid. But my whole entire life changed. And it taught me so many life lessons. It taught me grit. It taught me mental toughness. It taught me teamwork. It taught me how to band with others and fight through something that was, and just to believe in something that was bigger than myself. And I'll never forget this moment right here. In that same year, at 10 years old, I had the opportunity to go to University of Georgia. And I'll never forget that moment. Walking in, seeing that ocean of red and black, 90,000 strong, sitting there in the stands and looking at guys like David Green, guys like David Pollock, and then learning to cheer at kickoff. Go Dogs, sick 'em. And I was just like, man, it gives me goosebumps now just thinking about it. Just that moment when you're just a child and you have no clue that this whole world exists. Isn't it amazing what exposure can do? Just that little moment. And my little league coach was the first one to take me with his son. And so I was just like, man, maybe one day I could be a Georgia Bulldog. Maybe one day I could make the game-winning play to help us win. Maybe one day this can come true. And then boom, I came back home. And that reality hit. And then I started to learn as I grew older about the numbers and the statistics. The numbers that said only 0.02% make it to college. And this percentage only make it to the NFL. And I started to think, man, of the challenges. How many times do we look at numbers and statistics and use that to define whether our dreams, whether the initiatives that we're trying to push, whether it can really be possible or not? And I started thinking about the challenges that I had. And as I look back, and as I thought about the message I would give to y'all, I realized that a lot of these challenges that I thought about and that I faced as a 10-year-old kid were the same challenges and are the same challenges that you all face today. Challenges like lack of knowledge. Anybody feel like you wish you had more answers to solutions? For me, man, I wanted to play so bad. I wanted to climb higher and grow stronger, but my parents knew nothing about football. They thought it was just a bunch of big people hitting each other. So I had a lack of knowledge. I didn't understand the X's and O's. I couldn't ask my dad to play catch with me. He was busy working. They were focused on what they had to do in that time, which was helping the family get to that next level and helping their family back in Liberia. That was their main focus. So me talking about football it meant nothing to them. Next thing, financial struggles. Anybody wish that they had more funding and more money? Right? When I was growing up, man, as I told you all in that last picture, things started out great. But not too long after that, man, we started to struggle. My dad lost his business, which led him to becoming an alcoholic, turning to drugs, or turning to drinking. My mother, when I was 12 years old, almost lost her life from complications from a surgery. That's how quick life can change. Just like that. And these are hardworking people. And so I went from being that kid who had just enough, who we were making ends meet, to always struggling. I mean, it got so bad at times where we couldn't even afford the garbage bill. It was times where we had to use our oven as a heater. And I know some of you guys know what that feels like. Next thing was that lack of consistent support. Anybody in here wish that they just had a few more people to show up? That they had a few more people on their team? Because my parents worked so much, I was that kid who always needed a ride to practice. And I remember those days coming off the field after having a great game and just wishing that my parents could be there on the sidelines to cheer me on. Just wishing somebody was there. And I know some of you all, right now, sometimes you feel like you're alone in what you do. It's a major challenge. The next challenge was undersized. And guys, I heard every single short joke in the book. Every single one. Every expert. I don't care how many plays I made. I don't care what I did. I mean, picture me when recruiting started. I'm 15 years old, and I get invited up to Georgia. And I heard I was undersized so many times that you know what I did? It's summertime, and I'm going up to Athens with Timberland boots on and a real thick hoodie on so I can look just a little bit bigger. And it did not stop. I heard that I was undersized even when I made it to the NFL. Too short. I'm having arguments with the Detroit Lions GM because he doesn't believe I fit their physical stature. I mean, it just went on and on. So these are challenges that I had to face. And so many times in life, we have challenges after challenge to where it makes us so it gives us tunnel vision. It makes us so focused on the challenges and what we don't have instead of focusing on what we do have. Instead of focusing on the opportunities, the gifts, the talents, the resources that we have, and most of all, the relationships that we have, the connections that we have. What was the X factor for me? How was I able to overcome the odds? Through that family connection. I had my own family connection, and all these individual people, I still to this day don't know why they blessed me the way that they did, why they stepped into my life. Starting from my Little League coach, Ronnie Benton, a man from Alamo, Georgia, middle of nowhere, a man who loved turkey hunting, always had tobacco in his mouth, the biggest Georgia fan in the world that had his own son, had his own family, but took me in like his own son, took me to my first Georgia game, would take me on family vacations. When my family started struggling, his wife would take me to the store and just say, buy some shoes, buy some clothes. Blessed me. Next person, my teacher, Miss Longino, my 5th grade language arts teacher. God, I could not stand language arts. I could never figure out where to put the commas at. I hated writing a one-page paper. But because of her, she showed me that I could be a good writer by writing about things that I was passionate about and articulating things that I could relate to from my world. Because of Miss Longino, I went from that kid who had all the red marks on my paper, who could never get it right. I went from the guy who only liked writing papers if I was trying to slide a love letter to a girl and get a number, to now being an author of 2 books. I mean, crazy. The next man, Chip Smith. Chip Smith is a guy who my Little League coach paid for me to go and see. Paid for my workouts. Chip Smith is the guru of training. If you name an athlete, he basically started training, like pre-draft training. So if you, Brian Urlacher, Champ Bailey, Brian Jordan, list goes on and on and on. If they're a great athlete, Chip trained them. And so at 12 years old, my Little League coach paid for me to get workouts with Chip. And after a while, coach didn't keep making those payments. But Chip let me train there for free. I mean, at 15 years old, I met Brian Urlacher. I'm meeting all these guys. He had no reason to do that. He's got NFL superstar guys that he trains. He had no reason to give me that opportunity. Next person, Miss Finnegan. Miss Finnegan was another language arts teacher, 7th grade. Miss Finnegan came into my life at a time where I was trying to figure out my identity, where I was trying to figure out, am I going to be the funny guy? Am I going to live like who I see on TV? And she kept challenging me. The biggest thing that she did for me is she challenged the way that I see myself. A major problem in our society is self-perception. She challenged the way that I saw my world. She challenged my own potential. She said, Rennie, you are a leader. Rennie, you don't have to follow everybody else. Rennie, it's okay to be well-spoken. Rennie, it's okay to uphold a certain standard. And eventually it clicked. 7th grade, and I'll never forget that moment because I went from class clown to class president in the 8th grade because of one person. Next person, my pastor, Bishop Harris, a man who helped instill, along with my parents, that foundation of faith that still sustains me today as a man. Last guy, a man by the name of Jesse Tuggle, a guy who grew up right in Griffin, Georgia, who went to a small school in Valdosta, a man who they also told was too short and was never going to play in the NFL. And guess what? This man played for 15 years and was all pro. Somebody who I met, man, at a time where I was hearing it, that I was too short. He told me, man, Rennie, your dreams can come true. Rennie, you can do it. It made me believe that it was possible. And I share all these people with you to just show and remind you of all those people in your life, because I know each and every one of you are sitting here right now. You have somebody that poured into you, somebody that challenged you, somebody that sponsored you, somebody that spoke up on your behalf, somebody that made you believe that your dream was real. And it's so important that you honor them every single day that you have the chance to do your job and you have the chance to pour into somebody else. And as much as I had this family connection, this support system, I realized something. I realized something major, and this is one of the keys I want you to grasp when it comes to climbing higher and growing stronger. That leadership starts with you. Leadership starts with you. It's not about a position. It's not about a title. It's not about being in a board position. It starts with you, and it's a mindset. And I want you guys to do something for me real quick, all right? We're going to have a little bit of interaction, so I need y'all to stand on your feet. All right. So now, everybody up on your feet. I know y'all might be a little sluggish from y'all just ate good. Now, I want you to greet the people around you as if you don't really care that much for them. Just greet them like you just met them for the first time, casual. Greet them. Go ahead. All right, all right, all right. I see some of y'all didn't even talk to anybody. That's all. You just stayed in your corner. Hey, that's what you normally do. Cool. Okay, guys. Now, now, I want you to greet the people around you like they are a long lost friend that you haven't seen in 20 years. All right, all right, all right. Okay, guys, relax, 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 relax. All right, everybody have a seat. Everybody have a seat. Now, so did you guys feel the energy in the room? Did you guys feel the love in the room? Did you feel the intensity from that other person? Did it feel genuine? Right. And what did we change? Did we give anybody any extra money? Right? Did we bring in any new people? No. All we changed was our mindset. All we changed was our intentions. All we did was change our energy that we brought. And it's such a powerful example of what you have the opportunity to do every day as a leader. You have the choice. So when you step into a room that you bring the type of energy that you want to see, you bring the type of change that you want to see every single day. It is a choice. And so many times we internalize certain beliefs because of statistics, because of experiences, because of what may or may not have happened. And we start to have these thoughts and these beliefs and these norms that develop. And we don't even realize the energy that we're bringing. So understanding that leadership is a mindset will totally set yourself apart, will help you to climb higher and grow stronger. Next thing is understanding that leadership is a process. Change takes time. It does not happen overnight. And that's one of the reasons why I threw that picture up there. Because I liken leadership and the fact that it's a process to staying in the weight room. And when I talk about staying in the weight room, I'm not talking about anything physical. Even though some people in here might need to get in the weight room. I mean, it's part of it too. You got to develop yourself physically. But when I talk about staying in the weight room, I'm talking about developing those mental muscles. I'm talking about developing those spiritual muscles. I'm talking about developing your mind. Because it's great to be here right now, right? We're in this great environment. The workshops are going. You're around people who are going through the same fight. But what happens when you leave here? This is like the weight room right here, right now. Each workshop is like that weight room. You're getting those reps. You're hearing new ideas. You're getting that encouragement. But when you go back to your county, when you go back to your town, are you staying in the weight room? Are you continuing to work on yourself and develop yourself and finding new ideas and connecting with people? Guess what? Just like the weight room, if you come here and you get strong and you build up all these mental muscles and these spiritual muscles, but you leave and you don't stay in that weight room, guess what's going to happen? You're going to regress. You're going to fall right back into those same norms and those same beliefs, and those challenges eventually will overwhelm you. So guys, understand that leadership is a process, so stay in that weight room. Next and last point, final point, when it comes to leadership, starting with you, is operating at the level of your vision. Operate at the level of your vision. Before I ever stepped my foot on the field at University of Georgia, I was a bench warmer for weeks. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, why'd they even bring me here? They didn't redshirt me, but I'm not even playing. And I started getting down. I started letting my environment and my position determine my confidence and my drive and my level of dedication to what I do. But then I told myself that I don't care where they put me at. I don't care if I never play another down at University of Georgia. I'm going to train and I'm going to prepare as if I'm a starter. I started to go to the weight room by myself. I started to go to the film room by myself. I stopped worrying about if the coach acknowledged me or not. I stopped worrying about my position. I started operating at the level of my vision. And eventually that opportunity came. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Got that one shot, that one opportunity, my whole entire life changed. Because I was ready. I was ready for my blessing before it even came. And so I tell you that to say, don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the statistics. Don't worry about the funding. Don't worry about how many people are on your team or not. Start operating at the level of your vision. Ask yourself, in order to create that change in my community that I want, what would that require of me to do right now? What level of faith do I have to have? What level of mental toughness do I have to have? What level of integrity do I have to have? How much of a networker do I have to be? And start becoming that person right now. Operate at the level of your vision. The next thing I realized is that no matter how much you build yourself, no matter how great you become as a leader, that you cannot do this alone. You have to leverage your team. You have to leverage your team. No man is an island. And I want to show you guys my teammates because there's no better example of just guys from different backgrounds, from different beliefs, different religions coming together. And we know that diversity and inclusion is one of the greatest ways to add value, to create innovation, to solve problems, to increase productivity. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about my teammates. So first, up in the corner, we got my man, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford now plays for the Detroit Lions. And he's one of those guys, we call him the country club kid, just being honest. Grew up in Dallas, Texas, Highland Park, one of the most wealthy communities in the nation. Father was a dentist, good home. I mean, had all the tools, big arm, 6'3". If you need a ball that you need fit into this space, he's going to get it in there. I mean, when that dude threw the ball, it would just whistle. Almost broke my hand a couple times. But great guy, great leader. He's going to do just enough to win that game. The next guy, next to him, we got Donnell Ellaby. And Donnell was a little rough around the edges. Donnell came from a tough background. And I remember it like yesterday. When I came to University of Georgia, I mean, this dude, look at his face. Does he look that friendly? I think Donnell, he truly believed that he was Gucci Mane, like in real life. Like, and so I get up there, and I'm from the suburbs, good home, parents together. And at this time, I'm 5'10" and a half with braces, 220 soaking wet, coming up well-spoken, like, hey, guys, y'all want to play football? And I meet Donnell, and I'm like, hey, Donnell, man. And I'm just happy to be there at Georgia. I'm like, Donnell, man, you think I'm going to play here at Georgia? And Donnell looked at me straight in the face, and he was like, hell no. I was like, I'm going to just stay out of his way. But now, what's crazy is, as time progressed, Donnell became one of my greatest teammates because Donnell had that dog. So I knew, like, if it was time to go to war, that's who I want on my team. And what's special, we played right next to each other. And Donnell is a great man now. I mean, golly, he has a beautiful family, ended up having an amazing NFL career. But we played right next to each other. So I know if I get beat on a play, if something happens, Donnell got my back. There were times when Donnell had to take on bodies so that I would make a play, so that my name would get mentioned in the newspapers. Next guy, Ben Jones. Ben Jones was from somewhere in Alabama, some small town. Country as they come. I mean, he used to do some weird stuff like eating grass and talk. Like, this is a guy that if you're in a pile in a game, you do not want to, because he's going to grab, like, whatever. And I'm telling you, just a violent, I mean, look at his face. Just straight violent. He offensive lineman. And just crazy. I mean, when he grabs you, it's a wrap. You ain't going nowhere. But man, another guy who I was glad he was on my team. Then you got A.J. Green next to him. A.J. Green from Summerville, South Carolina. A.J. is one of the top wide receivers in the NFL now. And he's on the total end of the other spectrum, just as quiet as they come. You could barely get a full sentence out of A.J. I mean, he just comes in and he just does his job and he just makes plays. That's all he does. And if we needed somebody to make a big play, somebody who has that level of focus, no matter what the crowd is, no matter how hostile the environment is, AJ is that guy. You just throw it up, he's going to go and get it. Next guy, Blair Walsh. What do y'all think he did? Good. But another guy, wasn't that talkative? A little awkward at times? But if we need somebody to step in a big moment and come through in the clutch, Blair is our guy. Geno Atkins, defensive tackle. Geno is one of the top defensive linemen in the league right now. And I depended on Geno to protect me. Geno's one of those guys, you're not going to get much out of him either, but I'm telling you, you could put anything on the bar, this dude will lift it strong as an ox. Geno was the guy who protected me as a linebacker from big old 6'8", 300-pound linemen. If Geno doesn't do his job, I'm toast. Every time I see him, I tell him thank you for what he does. And so as I'm talking about that team aspect, ask yourself, who is on your team? Who has your back? And I'm not just talking about the other coordinators. I'm talking about within the community. I'm talking about other organizations. I'm talking about those who cover your blind side, those who present you with new ideas. So many times we can get so caught up in our daily tasks that we forget we have others around us that can just give us one solution, that can make one phone call, and everything changes. So don't forget about your teammates. And even right now in this conference, in this organization, you have so much knowledge sitting right here. You have people like Otis Johnson and those who are veterans in the game. How much time are you spending, if you're a young person, a rookie, as we would say in my world, somebody who's young, somebody who's just entered this organization, how much time are you spending with those older individuals and learning from them? And those who are veterans, how much time are you spending building up other leaders? One of the biggest issues we have in our society is self-preservation. That means those who are only looking out for themselves and their own well-being. But you have to have that team mindset. You have to have that win-win mentality in order to continue to climb higher and grow stronger. And there's one thing that we did that I want to do with you all today. What we call the hot seat. We would do this at a time during training camp when we've been spending, 8 hours a day together from 8 in the morning to 9 at night. We're tired of seeing each other. We're fighting each other, literally. And we're getting tired. And at the end of certain practices, we would all get in our team meeting room. And we would usually have a senior that would come up and they would talk about what it means to be a Georgia Bulldog, the challenges that they face to get there. And we would get to know them just a little bit better as a person. And through those simple acts, it would bring that team so much closer. The camaraderie will be built. And we would all understand that even though we have differences, that we're all in this fight together, that we're all fighting for the same goal. We all have the same vision. So, guys, I want to do that with you all right now. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's a great way to bring out the brave ones. So, job, my man. Good. So, here you go. Here's your mic.
What are we doing?
So, what does it mean to you to be a part of this organization? What do your teammates mean to you? And what is your vision for this organization moving forward?
Three-parter.
Yeah.
What it means to me to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, to do what you do, yeah.
For me to be a part of this organization, it means making my local community better. It's a place where I have skin in the game. It's where I live. It's where my kids are growing up in. And it's about making it fair, equitable, and a better community long after I'm gone.
Awesome, man. Man, killed it.
Second part.
Uh-huh.
What was the second part?
So you good.
Team.
Yeah, what are your teammates? What do all these people mean to you, man?
Man, and this is what's great about this. I was just talking to the table, and this is the entire team right here. And it's not necessarily the sessions. This is my first time being here, so really being on the hot seat.
Yeah.
It's more so than just the sessions. It's getting to know most of you in this room and finding out and picking your brain and finding out what works and what doesn't work and finding the inspiration and that knowledge base. And that's what your team really does. And what they bring to the table is they hide your gaps like you're talking about. They cover your blind side. And they give you strength where you're weak and really bringing people from different backgrounds, different parts of society, and different parts of industry together as well.
Awesome, man.
Third part.
Your vision. What's your vision moving forward?
For me, I'm in Barrow County. You may know it as God's country. And we're at the intersections of I-85 and 316.
Yes, sir.
And I imagine a Barrow County where every kid has a chance to grow up, and more so they have great educational opportunities where their parents are involved, their grandparents are involved, great opportunities in local high schools. They go off to college, preferably at the University of Georgia.
That's right.
And then they come back, they bring that knowledge, and because they want to come back home, and they want to set up shop, they want to set down roots in Barrow County, and they can do everything I just said in their lifetime. That's the vision.
That's awesome, man. Great job. Yeah. You have just experienced the hot seat. All right, we got anybody else who wants to be brave? We don't have to call it the hot seat. That sounds kind of intense. We call it the safe zone. It's the safe zone. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hey, how you doing?
I know many of y'all are scared out there, right? That's okay.
You good.
All right, what you want to know?
So.
First, let me say this to Miss Dot Bass. Where you at out there, Miss Dot? Stand up. 20 years, Region 8. We need to give her a hand. She's our mentor.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, what does it mean to you to be a part of this organization?
Getting a chance to be in this organization, and Monday was 15 years for me.
Wow.
It actually gives me the ability to be everything I ever wanted to be as a child. First, and don't laugh at this, I wanted to be a nun so that I could help people and work for God.
Wow.
2, I wanted to be an educator. And 3, I wanted to be a writer. And I've gotten to be every bit of that, working with children and families and the agencies that provide services for them.
Wow, that's amazing. What do your teammates mean to you?
My teammates, again, like Ben was saying, it's everybody in this room, but I've had some powerful mentors in my region, current and in the past, Michael Johnson, our CSS, Alicia Varnum from Region 10, who was there with me from the first day, Annetta Barry Scanlon, Edwina Turner, who is our chair now, who is not only our chair, but is a good friend, and all of Region 8 and all of the people here are people that if you call on them, they have an answer.
All right. Awesome. And last but not least, I'll give a round of applause. Yeah. Last but not least, your vision moving forward.
My vision is for Georgia to be number one in everything and providing solutions
Right.
for our family.
I love it. Great job. Great job. Oh, yeah. I'm fine. All right. Great job. That is such a powerful exercise because it gives you the chance to hear from your teammates who are going through the struggle and understanding that you're not alone in this, that you have others who are fighting alongside of you who believe in the same things that you do. And you get to hear about their stories too. There's been times when we did it where guys would share about things that are personally going on with them in their home that we had no clue about. And it's so important that you guys hear from each other because I know in the daily grind of what you do, it gets so easy to look at somebody and just think about, oh, they had this task that they need to get done. Oh, did they meet this deadline? And you forget that that person is another human being, that they're just trying to take care of their family. They're just trying to fight. And even though they're trying to solve everybody else's challenges, that they also have their own challenges and things that they're dealing with that you have no clue about. So I urge you to spend those moments, have those times where you get together and just share in authenticity and be genuine with each other. And it will, trust me, create that camaraderie that you want, that motivation that you want. I want to show you guys a quick clip. And in this moment right here, this 2009 when we're playing against South Carolina. Game is on the line. Fourth quarter, moment that I dreamed about as a child. Our backs are against the wall. 27 seconds left in the game. If we don't stop this play right here, we lose. It's fourth down with 4 yards to go. So if we don't stop it, if they score, we lose. So take a look.
All right, this is it. They have to get the first down or the touchdown. Garcia completed, was tipped. Georgia survives, as he had done so many times tonight. Garcia stepped up. The defense came to him. He threw it, but this time it was tipped. Was it Gamble who got a piece? What a finish.
When you talk about this last play here, watch the back. Now, Brian Maddox, number 10. Nobody is covering Maddox. If Garcia had just peeked a little bit to the left, he'd have seen his back. That would have at least gotten the first down.
Who gets a piece of this? The great Rennie Curran. And Garcia
Guys, check out the cops right here. This is one of my favorite parts.
can only
Look at
stand
the cops in
there
the back.
frustrated. Spurrier thought they had the right call. It looked like they did. Could have thrown it in the flat. Could have tried to run it. It wasn't that he made a bad decision. It's just that the defensive play was better than the offensive play. Let's check in with Heather.
Love it. All right, guys. So I did not show you that clip to show you how good of a football player that I am. I promise. Okay, maybe a little bit. I like reliving. But no, there's 2 major lessons that I learned and I love to think about when I watch that clip. The first lesson, y'all ready? Never root for a Gamecock. No, just kidding. The first lesson, guys, when you watch the replay of that clip, that quarterback, Steven Garcia, he had a wide open guy to his right. But he was so locked in on something that was not there that he totally missed what was right there. All he had to do was toss the ball out and we lose. And that's such a great analogy for life in the fact that we get so locked in, so focused on the wrong things, on challenges that we create in our own mind a lot of times. And we have tunnel vision instead of looking around us, instead of looking at the solutions, instead of asking somebody for help. And so it's so important that as you go through your daily challenges, as you get back in the trenches, that you don't get locked in on those numbers or those challenges or those things that aren't going right, and you focus more on the solutions. The next lesson that I took away from watching that video, guys, if there's nothing else that you learned from my message today, I want you to come away with this right here. I want you to remove me from that clip right there, and I want you to place yourself in that moment. And I want you just to imagine that all those fans, those 90,000 fans, I want you to imagine that they're all those children and those families that you fight for. And I want you to understand that for a lot of those children and those families, just like in that game, their back has been against the wall. For so many of them, all they know is loss. They don't know what winning looks like. For so many of them, if you don't step in, if you don't make a play, they're going to be lost. For so many of them, they are looking at you to be a game changer. They are looking at you to make a play against literacy. They are looking at you to make a play against drugs and alcohol and addiction. And a lot of them, it's been going on for generations. So you have the chance to break that by being a game changer. There's never a time in my life when I played this game that I wasn't trying to be a game changer. I wasn't trying to fight for something bigger than myself. And I realized something that at every team I played on, and now that I'm in business, that there's 3 levels of engagement. There's those who have a bench warmer mindset. Those who are just happy to be on the team, they're just happy to wear the jersey. Only time they get excited is when there's events, or when there's good food, or when the money's rolling. The next level is you have your role players. Those are individuals who have all the talent, all the skills, all the ability in the world, but they're never going to go above the call of duty. If anything's asked of them that stretches them, they're like, man, I don't get paid for that. I don't have enough support for this. They're never going to go above and beyond what they're just supposed to do. They're just there for some benefits. They're role players. And then lastly, you have your game changers. Those who go over and above, not because you're paying them extra, not because circumstances are perfect, but because they chose to operate at a level of excellence. They chose to operate at a certain standard because that's who they are. That's what they believe in, and that's what they're willing to sacrifice for. And so I challenge you today, as I leave and as I wrap up, to be a game changer for your family. Be a game changer for your community. Be a game changer for those who you may never even meet. Just to recap, because I know we spoke about a lot, remember that leadership starts with you. Remember that it's a mindset, that it's a process to operate at the level of your vision. Leverage your team. Remember that no man is an island. Surround yourself with those people who can help you climb higher and grow stronger. Next thing, and last, be a game changer. Guys, it's been an honor and a blessing. Continue to climb higher and grow stronger. Thank you.
And the world's